Hey, it's John with The Conversation That Matters for March 2018. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the moderate solution. So I was reading a New York Times article, and I've heard this many times, usually from people on the left, but they'll say, what we need are some moderates to listen to, because the tone in Washington is just so extreme. We have radicals on both sides, the right and the left, and we need some moderates to get in there and kind of make everything better. And this is not a solution. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'll tell you what the solution is, I think. So it's not a solution because who is a moderate? When you think of a moderate, what do you think of? Well, number one, you could think of someone who doesn't have an opinion. They just want to go on eating their sandwich. They really don't care about tax reform. They're not going to help. If they don't have an opinion on the left or the right and what their solutions are, they're not going to be listened to, nor do they want to be listened to. Another category, another definition for a moderate might be someone who, let's say, believes that there is a third way. The right has an opinion, the left, and there's a third way. Or I'm going to take aspects of the right and the left and take what's best from both worlds and create my own third solution. Well, what you've done is you've created, if you listen to that voice, a third potential for radicalism. Because now you have three people, three solutions. And each one can be just as radical as the other. So cross that out, not a solution. The third way, and I think this is the way most people think of when they're saying that moderates are going to save us. The third way you could think of a moderate is someone who just, maybe they whisper more. They're nicer. They're not vilifying and shouting crazy things at the other person. Well, if that's the case, what you're talking about really isn't a moderate anymore. It's just someone who's nice. And can't someone on the left or the right just be nice and treat someone with respect with whom they disagree? Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's obvious, right? So someone who's a conservative or a liberal, they can treat someone with kindness. You don't need a moderate for that. So moderate, again, a moderate person is not the solution for this. It's just treating each other with kindness. Now, if that's really the root of all this, we just need to treat each other with kindness. My question is, what happened that we do not treat each other with kindness anymore? Because usually the example that's given is, it didn't used to be that way. The political tone in Washington is worse than it's ever been. Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan got along. Well, if that's true, and you want to go back to the 70s, then what made Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan get along more? What made people in previous generations love each other and love this country more and come together more on certain things than they do now? Well, it has to be connected with the idea of respecting one another somehow. Now, I can think of something, it's the elephant in the room. Now, if you have a solution, you need to argue for it. But I think there's something a paradigm that fits this very well. This country, the United States of America, used to be very influenced by Christianity. So Christians would treat each other with respect because they were taught from a young age. They were given a philosophical basis for this. Men and women are made in the image of God. They carry the image of God with them, and if you respecting them is respecting God. It's required of us. It's what separates us from the animal kingdom. And authority figures are respected because authority is given by God. Different, mothers, fathers, children, women in general. There was a respect that went to women. And those things are leaving us. I think the Me Too movement, in many ways, you can even see the lack of respect for women. Well, okay, why is there lack of respect for women? Where did chivalry go? It went with Christianity. When we destroyed that, we destroyed some of these other things. So here's the solution. We need to get back to Christianity. We need to get back to a philosophical basis for valuing someone else. And then discussing things with them in a forceful way, if you want, but in a direct way, but also in a respectful way. Now, this way is not going to be palatable to those who think moderates are our savior, because this brings us right back to conservatism. Those who want to conserve traditional America would be those would be the conservatives, the traditionalists, right? And they are the ones that we're told are radical. So now we're right back to kind of where we started. The solution now is in conserving a tradition, conserving a biblical worldview of some kind, and that's something that liberals wouldn't be able to abide because it's too radically right-wing. I don't know what else to say. The solution, though, is not moderation. The solution is respect, and you got to have a philosophical basis for respecting another human being. So, food for thought.